So hello guys, today I will be talking about how tech is advancing over time. So just to give you a quick recap, we have gone from fire to ovens and salt boxes to refrigerators, if you know what a salt box is. And we have gone through a lot. We have gone from steam cars, which it has water, and it heats up that water and creates steam. And that steam is then transported to a cylinder in the car that has pressure. And that pressure makes the wheel go forward, thus making the car go in motion. Then, if you want to go in reverse, you just switch gears. And then we've gone from that, which the flaw is that when the pressure was gone, and you didn't have any more water, you need to add more water. And that used a lot of water. So we went to gas cars. And whenever we went to gas cars, we started getting a lot more mileage. Then we went to electric cars, which we haven't fully transitioned to. And after that recap, the question is, what will be next in tech? What will we decide will be our future? What do we think will be the next big thing for humanity? And nobody really knows. We know that fusing two atoms with heat, and it releases energy whenever they're fused together. Does fusion. It releases energy. Put in energy to fuse the atoms, and it releases energy, more energy than you put in most cases, if you do it correctly. And we really don't have a solid answer. Like whenever we were started making gas cars, that was easy. We'd move to gas cars. But what will come out after the smartphone? We've got watches, but these aren't like watches, no offense, but these aren't going to take the world by storm tomorrow. That's just not how it works. First, we are very convinced that phones are way better. People have complaints that smartwatches have small screens, and so the experiments will be horrible when you're trying to text. Honestly, just call. If your smartwatch can call somebody, then call them. That's one problem solved. But other than just cellular devices like iPads and iPhones, Samsung Galaxies, we honestly don't know. We think in 1980 or 90s, we thought that floating skateboards, and we thought of whatever else. And we thought that we were going to have super advanced robots. And really, I'd say that, not to offend anybody, but here's how I look at time cycles. In the 19s, well, not referring to it like that, but from 1901 to 1999, I'd say that the whole world was teenage. We learned some stuff, we also did some dumb stuff. Then in the 20th century, from 2000 to 2023, the world is like a 20-year-old, like an adult. So we've obviously learned more and gotten smarter about our decisions. But that in itself does not solve as many problems. We are working on fission, which left a dent in society, releasing uranium. Obviously, what's not good for the environment. So fusion will take the world by storm. Well, not take the world by storm, but will be our next energy source. I'd say it's a doubling resource, self-sustaining resource. You just take some energy, you put it into maybe 40 fusion reactors. Half of them will be fusing will be fusing atoms together, and the other ones will be releasing energy, and they'll both take turns. So we'll have a stable energy source. Now, I think that they actually did fuse two atoms together, and apparently it was enough energy for that just 5 seconds or 20 seconds. It released enough energy to power 20,000 homes. And that's a big deal. Like, instead of burning coal and using fuel in these massive engines and factories and stuff, we could just use fusion reactors. They don't leave a dent in our society or in our environmental crisis at the moment. And plus, they double energy. When you double energy, it's going to be good. Really good. Doubling energy is like Ratasia made a video, which is one of my I subscribe to, because he really made sense. He thought of a car that would go faster than the wind, being powered by the wind. And obviously, yes, this would work with low friction, super low friction tires, super low friction drivetrains and propeller, without using any energy whatsoever. That could be our future for all we know. So just to take away from this, we need to think more about our future. We need to think 2 steps ahead rather than thinking of what happened in our past. Yes, we know that we left a dent in climate. We changed the climate in the environment. We got some animals extinct because of assumptions. And we need to stop this and look at what 2 steps ahead. Instead of just going off and making fission reactors, releasing uranium, which will either get shot into space, which is a really dumb idea, and just being stored underground. Because where else is that going to go? Koenig's Ark made a good video explaining why it wasn't a good idea to send uranium into space. Essentially, just you launch it into space, it will come back to Earth eventually. And when it does, it might be unstoppable. Even though NASA has like the NASA DART, which probably wouldn't affect it at all. But the only thing we can do with uranium is deplete it and make armor that would go on military trucks, which we don't make as many of those as we used to in like World War II. And just to take away from this, technology will get better and better, and there's a lot of people who believe that every time we use technology, we're becoming dumber, and that we aren't using our brains. But if you really think about it for a moment, if we weren't using our brains, what would we be doing? What would we be doing on iPads if we didn't use our brains? We use brains when we're gaming. We take a thought. When you're playing Minecraft, the first thought is to get food. You're using your brain, obviously. So it's just a big lie that we are not using our brains in any way. And of course, some people will disagree with me. And I'm fine with that. But just because it may seem like that, don't make assumptions. When you make assumptions, when we assumed that an animal species was dangerous, when we lost it, we figured out that they were actually nice instead of assuming things, they could have been beside us. And second of all, we use our brains anyways. There are studies that have proven this. It's like me making this video right now. I use my brain to talk. I use my brain to move my hands, to speak, and to think. And so that is just one assumption that we are not using our brains. So, tech will get better. We can become smarter. When you're using a calculator and you're allowed to do it in a test, you still have to know what equation to use. They may not let you all the time, But most of the time, it's not cheating unless they tell you not to use it. Because you still have to know what equation to do and what to do with the sum of that equation. So technology is getting better. We will become smarter. And just for everybody to have a blessed day today. And this is